Alright, welcome to Immediate Review, okay? You see part 1 and 2 of our Godfather review? If you didn't, what's the matter with you? You go back, you watch that, okay? You did, forget about it. You come here, you watch it, we just watched part 3.
We're with Person A. We just watched Godfather Part 3. So, what'd you think, Peter? You said it after part 2. Why did they make a third one? Why? Are you convinced, or are you part of the no part 3?
Okay, I get why they made it. I understand why they made it. I get the story, like they were trying to end, like get to the end of his arc, like make him legitimate. By the way, drink every time he says fucking legitimate in this goddamn movie. But
too legit to quit.
Yeah, that's basically how I feel about it, man. It's just like, it's just a big sigh for me, man.
This one, it's the shortest one, and the thing that pissed you off the most was the runtime.
Yeah, the pacing was like the big thing for me.
Because part 2 is like almost 3.5 hours long, and you were just like, ugh.
Yeah, I loved it, dude. I loved it. It was a great ride, and this one is just like I don't know. The pacing was just really slow, and I felt like it focused on things that didn't fucking matter at times, and there's so much that could have been cut from this and just kept because the core stuff that happens, the cool stuff that happens is it's cool, but it's at the same time they went from a slow build up to these kind of escalated events to the escalated events kind of just they're kind of just sprung on you out of nowhere, and they're fucking huge. A fucking helicopter comes down and mows down a fucking room full of people, and there's murders in the streets and at plays, and it's just all of these killing events are just so huge and big, and the rest of it is so slow, and I feel like the events in the other movies aren't as big, and so it's that slow pacing and build up to those events is more balanced in contrast, and this is it's really boring, and then it's just oh, there's a fucking helicopter, they're fucking shooting everybody, and there's blood everywhere and all this stuff, and then it's just once that's done, and then it's just kind of boring. And yeah, but
you make a good point. Sorry to interrupt. You make a good point about needless scenes, and the fact that part 1 and 2 is just fucking tight like a tiger. Every scene is driving the plot and adding something to the story, something of importance. This one, Bridget Fonda's character. At the beginning of this, you thought she was going to be in it more. You're like, oh yeah, she's like a reporter, and then after the robbery scene, she's never seen from again, and you were like, what the fuck? Who's that? Why?
It could have been, yeah.
And I think that I'll let Person A say her general thoughts and stuff before I start getting into specifics. But yeah, there's a lot with this.
What'd you think of the incest?
I mean, that's what I was like. That's what I was gonna start digging into. After Person A.
God damn it!
Yeah, it's fucking why? 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 Literally, that's the first scene where it's just when I was I'm your little cousin. When I was 8, you were 15. And he's like, oh, I had a lot of girlfriends, even 8-year-old girlfriends, especially 8-year-old girlfriends. And she's like, why haven't you kissed me hello yet, big cousin? And it's just why is this happening?
And throughout the whole movie, it's hey, cuz, what up, cuz? I love you, cuz here.
It's seriously, it's it's a main focus plot.
It's not a plot, though, because it has nothing to do with anything except the fact that he loves his daughter.
Nobody brings up the fact that they're cousins.
Never mind, I guess
it's supposed to build emotional impacts for her death at the end, It's that's what it's building to.
This movie is so casual with incest. It's oh yeah, incest,
Like you do.
Technically in some states it's legal.
Michael's just what are you doing with my daughter? please, she might get killed. What are you doing? Instead of like please, your
what
family.
What are you doing with my daughter? Your family, stop.
Yeah, it's like it's not okay. And the fact that like it focuses on that a lot. There's a lot of scenes that just like will cut to them just being fucking weird and rapey to each other, and it's just like, oh, hi cousin. And like that, she is an awful actress. She really is just like
it's known as one of the worst performances of all time.
Yeah, it's like it's definitely bad. Like
she later made a bunch of successful films though, and she's now a big time director. So
I mean, I don't. Yeah,
she turned it around, but
the camera.
yeah, acting was not her strength.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And I mean, yeah, like like they straight up like they like kiss and stuff, and it's like I know they're not related on like in real life, but it's just like goddamn, like why'd you
and
like
it's the worst kissing. It's so
yeah,
awkward.
like they don't have chemistry or anything like that. It's
they're
just
like
it's,
kissing
yeah.
weird parts of each other's faces
Yeah.
and mouths, and at an awkward angle that doesn't make sense from a directing standpoint.
And it's just like like people think Star Wars is fucking like pretty heavy with the fucking brother sister kissing and shit. It's like no.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the awkward lack of chemistry between Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen.
There's that too. I mean, yeah, but it's like all of that is not as bad as these.
George
two.
Lucas watched Godfather Part 3 and was like, I need to direct everyone just like he directed Sophia.
Yeah.
No, I don't think this film has any redeeming qualities.
Oh, so you're firmly on Burn Part 3.
Burn Part 3, erase it from the Rolodex, unnecessary.
I mean, like even in just those two things, it's like incest, pedophilia, like 15-year-old, 8-year-old, like even like.
No, unnecessary. I don't know what they were doing a lot of drugs when they wrote this.
It's just like it's hard topics to start with. Like in the first scene, you're just gonna be like, "Yo, guess what this movie's about."
Yeah, you didn't see it.
But the funny thing is that the incest subplot and her bad acting are the only fun, like enjoyable parts of the movie in a so bad it's a good way, because you're just like, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
It's very
and
true.
Then in
we
between
were
that,
it's
like, here's a newspaper montage and corporate bullshit because Michael is trying to be legitimate, and Al Pacino obviously just wants to sleep the whole fucking movie.
Yeah,
like Al Pacino is not on his game in this, so his acting's bad. Like the good actors aren't even good in this, but they're not like so bad they're enjoyable. So honestly, Sofia Coppola is like in a weird way, the best and worst thing about this movie, because like I only watch it because I want to see her be terrible.
But
like watching her be unbearably.
But if that's the
awkward
case, she needs to be in it more.
Yes,
that's what
she does.
That's what
she should be in
like,
it more, acting more poorly, and then when she dies at the end,
The
you're like,
whole
she
movie
got
was
shot
about-
because she just did that line delivery.
I
Prior
mean,
to
her
being
death
shot.
is already
So terrible.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, at the end. I laughed really hard when that
Well, it's
happened.
made funnier because she gives like the worst line delivery of, "Why are you doing this? to
Why
me?
are you
Why?"
doing this?
And then she gets
Why?
shot, and it's like, "That's why, because you can't act. That's why you get killed."
Yeah, my general thoughts is like, this to me seems like a second draft screenplay of something that could be good if they kept working on it. Like that's the feeling I get every time, that this feels like, they just didn't work on the script very much, and this one isn't based on anything from the book.
Coke
like
did all
part
the heavy lifting.
1 or 2, and I think the plot overall is good, but it needs major work and more sense, and to trim some of the characters that don't have any impact, or else give them impact. But yeah, I do like that Michael is trying to be legitimate, because that follows up on what part 2 said. Kay was like, you said within 5 years the Corleone family would be completely legitimate. So like, it's a natural progression of character, and I like seeing the consequences that the family kind of rejects him overall and doesn't respect him as much. And he really lost a lot of the power that he had in the other ones. And like you were saying,
I
think
hate that.
I think that's why a lot of people don't like it. But like after killing Fredo, I don't know. I think he kind of deserved to be, I don't know, somewhat.
Then have him be completely illegitimate and end up in prison or something, or having to go underground, or like losing everything.
That happens a lot though, and I like that he's trying to sneak his way into, like, they criticize him throughout the movie.
Or become a dirty politician or something.
Yeah.
Like.
But so, yeah, and there's a line where he says that as he becomes more legitimate, he discovers that it's just as corrupt at the top. Within the church and business. And I like that the movie kind of analyzes crime and corruption from two major institutions rather than, just like small-time mafia. I love Joe Mantegna as Joey Zaza. I don't know. He's Fat Tony. I just dig him. He makes me smile. The opera scene really does go on a bit too long, but I think thematically, it fits. The ending of a big Italian trilogy that like celebrates the culture. It's like an opera is a very, very appropriate setting for like the final scene in the trilogy.
But it's not.
Too long.
It doesn't fully work.
For too long.
You're right, but
people complain about the ending of Return of the King.
Most of this is what's on paper and
longer.
What could be good, but isn't really good. And then the last thing I like is that like Mike and Kate kind of make amends, and it kind of teases that they're gonna make amends, and then the moment after their daughter gets shot. Like, it cuts to a close-up of her where she looks over, and you just know, like, nope, it's never going to happen. This is exactly why she left you in the first place. And at the end of the movie, it's very repetitive of part 2. But yeah, he's in his seat, and he dies alone. It is. And yeah, we laughed when he fell over. But yeah, at the same time, I have all the same complaints. Like, I think it is a bad movie, but I could see I can see its potential, and there is stuff I enjoy. But man, they needed to work on the script longer. They really did.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I got where like they were going with it, because they like I mentioned in the beginning while we were watching it that I really felt like this Michael just doesn't feel like Michael to me, and his posture
he doesn't
just, like,
fully
slouched, and he's just kind of like just kind of.
There's one where he's just doing a business deal like this.
Yeah, like where he's just not.
He just came from the set of Scarface, and he had actually done a Mountain of Coke.
Scarface was like 7 years later.
And it's like we've seen Al Pacino do that kind of stuff, and so it's like why is he behaving in this way? And then later when Vinny comes up and has his they definitely structure him, light him, frame him in the same ways they did Michael, is trying to do a kind of like passing of the torch.
They did. I never fully realized that. It's done very lame.
It's like Michael was going to control the business side, and then Vinny was going to control the crime side, and he was going to like blend the two together in some way, which like would like you definitely need that, you need like a bodyguard or something along those lines, but it's just like the whole thing is intermixed with like he's fucking his cousin
who was Michael's daughter,
and it's like I don't care about this character. It's just like
ruin everything.
It ruins the whole dynamic of the character, because it's like I get it. Like he's
like, you cousin fucker. I
yeah,
don't want
it's like exactly, man. But he's the new Michael. Like great, but it's like Michael is like being.
I can handle flawed characters, but you, sir, are sick. Get out.
Yeah, man. It's like, yeah, dude. It's definitely tough, and like. I just think that like along with the pacing, just certain scenes focus on stuff that isn't important. Like they'll have like you know,
the swearing of the new pope, for example, takes
or,
so long. That scene
like,
drags on, and then there's newspaper montage.
Where like a pope is like delivering tea to someone, and it's just like close-ups of the teacup,
and it's not it's just not worthy.
Yeah,
of it.
it's just like why
right.
like this doesn't need there isn't enough substance and plot to drive the.
But the tea was poisoned, Peter.
Shots. I mean, sometimes it was, but some other times it wasn't, and it did it all the fucking time to everything. Like it was constantly just doing like close-ups to fucking stuff, and it's like you haven't given me any reason why any of these shots are important. It's like,
but there was oranges.
You know,
somebody's gonna die.
Like the basic plot of the movie is basically just like he like moves from gambling to real estate
and buys out a conglomerate called
and everyone gets mad at him for it. It's like, you know, it's like I get that he basically uses all of those bonds as a stepping stone to gain all of this power, and like, you know, Fat Tony's like super pissed and stuff, but like it also brings in like 3 other people that could have potentially. I don't even know who did the shooting.
Oh, it was
also the real estate never becomes a plot in the way that it could have. Like Michael Corleone now owns half the city, or has zoning powers that could like impact certain neighborhoods.
Yeah, it was all just like, I did this, and you're gonna give me this cut when I deserve more from everyone because I did this, and it's like
the super old man did it, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because he followed Fat Tony out. He was like, let me reason with him. And then he follows him out. And
that's why she poisons his cannoli. Yeah. Why is there so much poisoning
she poisons his cannoli.
Movie?
Some of the deaths are like part 1 and 2 have such cool creative mob deaths, and this one's like he stabs him with his plastic glasses.
And then he gets poisoned with the cannoli.
He pretends that the guy scalped him out, and then he's like, gotcha. And it's like, are you like,
that one is really bad. Yeah,
like it just feels lazy, and like, you know, it's like the cinematography's there. It's like all of the things.
It is, but it isn't. I don't think it compares to 1 and 2. It's fine. It's good, but compared to 1 and 2, not at all. And 1 and 2,
there's a lot less tasty shots of this.
The cinematography in 1 and 2 too. It's just like got this just golden classic look. And this one just kind of looks like a normal 90s movie with a little. It's got a little pinkish hue.
Some of the shots look good, but some of the wide shots, like the helicopter scene specifically, looks like, I mean, like a 70s
it's
action
a tad
movie,
too modern. I mean, it takes place in the 70s, but still, there's just a disconnect from just the feeling of 1 and 2. There really is.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because this print, they don't need to restore it. Like, they just scanned it as is. And the other 2 are fucking needed to have complete surgery. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, I can understand why they went through the trouble for the surgery, and like if this one
and also why they're necessary.
I don't think it would have been.
I feel like audiences probably didn't watch this one near as.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh yeah, it didn't do well.
Yeah, and Michael's death too. It's like I get, you know, it's they're kind of doing the. I mean, it felt similar to like to. You know, it's like, I don't know. It didn't feel like it earned it. It was just kind of like, oh, his daughter died, and then he's alone, and then he died alone. It's like, great. It's like you did like I don't know. It didn't.
That's what happened in part 2. Like, it ends almost the same as part 2.
It's like they both could have been shot, like him and his daughter, and it would have like.
He does get shot, but he lives through it.
And yeah, he could have lived through it just a little longer and then died like as everything fell apart. Yeah, in the hospital or something, instead of just like,
alone,
let's put him in a bunch of age makeup and have him collapse and then fucking
drop an orange.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. Like I even said when it happened, I was like that's weak. Like that's weak. Like that's like there have been some endings of movies that have fucking just put me to the fucking floor, and this
the ending of part 1 and 2.
I mean, yeah, like, and this made me laugh.
It's true, man.
And it didn't seem like it was trying to. You know?
And he had to put on
we
his
laughed a bunch,
before he died to remind you he's still cool.
Yeah, Michael has diabetes. Like,
Oof, that's a lame gimmick.
Okay.
It's like my heart.
give me my candy.
If you end the series at the end of part 2, you kind of get like the rise and fall arc is more. It's better. It's more complex.
This one's rise, fall, down, rise again.
No, this is like a weird circle. And it's just like in part 1, he wants to stay legitimate and stay out of family affairs. Right? And then, the Godfather dies and he has to take up the mantle and, all of that. And Diane Keaton gets like moved into it. And yada yada. And then part 2, you see like the backstory, and then like Michael becomes progressively more like his dad. His corruption costs him all the things that he cares about for the sake of power, and by the end of 2, like, he has all this power and he's lost everything else that he cares about. And that's a good place to end. You don't fucking pick up then part 3 and it's like, no, but his promise to Diane Keaton, he kept it, guys. And and now he's just and no, it's like convoluted. It's like, no, you end it there and you leave the rest up to imagination because.
And he's like, I know that I did some bad things, but I'm a different person. Don't remember the scene where I smacked you across the fucking face and just put you on the couch and I was like, there ain't no way you're taking my fucking kids from me.
Yeah.
And she cried and left and abandoned her children.
Making you finish.
I know.
It's like, you're supposed to remember that, like,
no,
and it's
no,
just
that's
like
how it should end.
this movie is like painting him as like, oh no, he got legitimate, it's okay,
It's
now
okay,
it's all
This is
good,
legitimate.
and it's like
You're
it's
right.
No,
Yeah,
it like tarnishes his because he has like a Barry Lyndon then journey otherwise, except for him losing his power. That's the piece that's missing. So if they did part 3, it should have been him losing his power not because he chose to go legitimate, but because he got too greedy. That would have been more interesting and a more like he's back at square one sort of thing, but not him choosing and like making a conscious choice, because where Michael's at the end of part 2 doesn't seem to indicate that he's gonna make that choice and work towards that. Like,
because Kay says that was 7 years ago, and
Yeah. There's no way he'd just work for 7 years at making the business legitimate after that. And if he had, at that point, he was so embroiled with all these people that they would have killed him. He knew too much. There's no way that anybody would have let him live. It would have just turned into a whole people trying to kill each other and blah, 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 like early on. So, all the stuff in part 3 ultimately doesn't make any sense in the larger context of the story. So, and if he's going to pass the torch to anybody, it should have been his kids. But they were like, oh, fuck, we fucked up with the daughter and also, sexism. So he can't pass it on to Mary. And,
Connie's bloodthirsty in this one. She's like, Michael, why don't you kill a bunch of motherfuckers?
Yeah. And so he's got to be his sister's son. But, and then, his own son, he's just like, no, go off, do opera. Are you kidding me? Michael from part 2 would have been grooming his son to be the next Don.
He wanted to, yeah, but he went legitimate.
No, he wouldn't have gone legitimate. It makes no sense.
But he did go legitimate. This is legitimate, honey.
But if legitimate means raising a cousin fucker, then okay.
Raising a cousin.
And not having a problem with it. He does not. He's all keep it in the family, but until they get violent. And then he's like, oh, that puts her life in danger. And ironically, she dies after they break up. So
it's like this stuff's close to home. Like I got family that think that cousin fucking's okay. It's like I can't endorse it. I'm completely against
there are
it.
states
No
where
fucking
it's
way.
legal.
Can't fucking no. It's wrong. Okay, no. Like I ain't not like family should not be that friendly. You know what I mean? Like no.
I'm your little
Immediate
cousin.
review is very strictly against.
You don't
incest.
get to marry your cousins. Stop.
What about our second cousin?
No.
But
But
so
probably
Tom,
third cousin twice removed.
Tom's
Tom's
gone.
out.
Robert Duvall, what the fuck, man?
Tom's
they
out.
fucking Tom, you're out, dude. Tom, sad.
he's sorely missed, and it's like, okay, he's out. I get it. Own that. Don't be like, this is Tom's son. He's a character in the movie now. His dad was a great lawyer.
You're the son of a great lawyer. Yeah.
And he's at the opera. There are a lot of
and
wasted
all the
characters.
stuff with the church and the Pope and all of that.
I mean,
is
even just the
it's so
dons, the
convoluted.
gambling dons. There's fucking like 40 something.
I know,
people
in the
there.
other
it's
one,
like,
yeah.
why does that why? Like, why does there need to be this many fucking characters? Like, I'm bad with like
Yeah,
keeping
it
track
makes
of
that
names
scene
and
have
faces
no
and things.
emotional weight.
There was so many character introductions that did not need to fucking happen. Like, so many close-ups of people that didn't fucking matter. It was just like, why? Like, why? Like, I was so fucking confused at who I'm supposed to, like, who's in fucking charge of what, who has a bunch of power, and who's fucking, like, you know, a stepping stone for
Who's
Michael,
a made
and
man?
fucking what's
Who's
going
not?
on, and
Whose
like,
death is gonna
who's
impact
the
the story?
Pope, and
Who's
who's
not?
the assassin, and are they the same person?
the
They
Pope's
look
assassin?
similar. What the fuck is going on?
So it's not as good as part 1 and 2.
No, it's actually better. No, fucking of course not, man.
So what do you think? You
it's-
never want to watch this one again?
I mean, probably not. I mean, I may watch it again. Travis mentioned I should watch them all three together and in one sitting, you know, just to like experience the whole saga and whatnot. But he said to
And
do it in the
that-
winter.
I feel like it would be part 3 would especially be worse because you're just Godfathered out at that point.
Yeah, and then
No,
it's like,
at
forget
that-
about
Wait,
it.
maybe we'll try it though. Who knows, baby?
Yeah.
If you do that, you're gonna very quickly realize, oh, why the fuck is this? Does this movie is this movie?
I mean, I was saying that after Godfather Part 2. I hadn't even seen this, and I was just like, why? I don't need another one. Like, I'm good. Like, good for me.
All
But,
right.
yeah, we're going to wrap this up. Battery's about to die, but
The
yeah.
trilogy is complete.
Yes.
Should they remake The Godfather? Godfather Part 4.
With
Should
Leo.
Should we digitally de-age Al Pacino and have it take place between Part 2 and
No.
3?
Let us know down below what you're thinking, and yeah, what do you think of this trilogy? What do you think of Part 3? Let us know.
Should
and,
Nicolas Cage be in it because he is a Coppola?
Oh.